Insurance say go local. Go with a home team.
All right, the latest out of Rocky Top and Knoxville, Tennessee, Neyland Stadium, who will be leading the Big Orange Tennessee Vols out of the tunnel next year. The latest out of Rocky Top with Charlie Burris at about 7:35, about 5 minutes from now. Charlie Burris with the Big Orange podcast. I think that's kind of cool. You know, that's a cool Big Orange podcast. Charlie Burris will join us. Steve Robertson on Jalen Green, 5-star transfer from the Texas Longhorns to Mississippi State, eligible immediately, already enrolled in school. Steve Robertson at 8:30. So we'll go to Knoxville in a minute or two, and then at 8:30 we'll go to Starkville. If you want to watch the show, I did shower this morning. And so if you want to watch the show on YouTube, that's our webcast. And it's gotten more and more popular. Go to YouTube, search Out of Bounds Sports. YouTube, search Out of Bounds Sports. Hit that. I do want to let you know we're going to have Jeff Brantley in studio.
Big Red?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. What is he? Cowboy?
Cowboy, yeah.
Something Cowboy on. He's got a great Twitter handle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jeff Brantley, who was a dominant MSU pitcher, 84, 85, but on that 85 CWS team, then went on with the San Francisco Giants and the Cincinnati Reds, and now then ESPN. But he's been with the Reds, both TV, radio, broadcast network for, I don't know, 10-plus years, maybe 15. And I know the Reds haven't been good, but they love baseball. Love it. In fact, Johnny Bench, talking about Hank Aaron on Friday, was, you better get some Kleenex. But Johnny Bench, part of the Big Red machine, obviously, with the Cincinnati Reds in the 70s. I kind of caught the tail end of that. Anyway, Jeff Brantley will join us in studio. I can't remember what time, 8:30 or 9. And we're looking forward to that. So All-American pitcher out of MSU, longtime MLB career, and then just done a great job in broadcasting. So Jeff will join us live in studio, and the reason why I was referencing that, you can watch that, as that'll be on YouTube too. The Farm Bureau Insurance, the SEC Insider Hit this morning, is presented by your local Farm Bureau Insurance agent. Bundle your auto and home and save with Farm Bureau Insurance. Go to favorites.com, get a quote, and or just, boom, Google your local Farm Bureau Insurance agent. Give them a call and save on your auto and home. Farm Bureau Insurance call-in line, 601-707-3750. 707-3750. You know, Blake, we've been switching back and forth so much because I've been taking some road trips to see Welcome Home Beef and Two Brothers Smoked Meats and the Portico Development in Starkville, and we're hunting a couple other things up there that we flip back and forth on the phone line.
Well, you know, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, no doubt. Okay. How are you doing, man?
Man,
I didn't even ask you how you were this weekend.
Living the dream,
Was that
boss.
selfish of me?
It's all right.
Okay.
I was enjoying it. A little football. Did not watch too much basketball Saturday.
I didn't watch any Saturday. I was busy.
I was as well.
Yeah, so I didn't watch Ole Miss beat A&M. Congratulations, by the way. That's back-to-back. Should have mentioned that earlier. Ole Miss beat A&M. Once they came back late in the first half, then they just put it on them. And then Mississippi State played a closer game than I thought. I would have lost money. I would have thought that Bama would win by 28.
Yeah.
And they didn't. Mississippi State played, about as well as they can. And so that's your basketball update this morning.
You know how you mentioned
and Tom Brady's the GOAT, and
that's correct.
He may be better than Jordan. What do you want to do with
but
that?
Probably not better than Mahomes. We'll
Mississippi Ag, well, that's a good point. Mississippi Ag, John Deere Tractor text line, 601-885-3776. Go ahead.
So, two things. One,
did you go to Welcome Home Beef?
Yes, I did, Saturday. And I screwed up. I didn't take pictures. It's my fault.
Well, what did you order?
I had ribeye and a strip.
Okay, great.
Cooked them up.
Can't beat that.
Sliced them and did like a half and half, with the girlfriend.
How'd you cook it?
Obviously, I skillet, cast iron seared it.
You have one in Starkville, too?
Yeah, baby. I got like 5.
Wow, look at you. So you're a cast iron skillet.
I love cast iron.
aficionado.
I love them.
Wow.
I use
You're an insider.
I use cast iron. What do you call it? Dutch ovens as well sometimes to do. Like you can do cobbler, cast iron cobbler, Dutch oven. It's so good.
Cast iron cobbler?
So you know the cast iron Dutch ovens. So they're like
I don't know what you're talking about.
So it's like
maybe I do.
Imagine a cast iron skillet, but the sides go up higher to make a bowl, and it has a lid.
Okay.
And you set it on coals, or you put coals on top of it.
Okay.
And so basically, that's like from my scouting days. We would make like cobbler, beignets. You can fry stuff in it.
When you say cobbler, you're talking about a dessert.
Yeah, like apple cobbler, peach
Gotcha.
cobbler, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
I'm more of a blueberry cobbler.
I do that.
I mean, I don't really eat
Done cherry,
cobbler, but
all of
if
it.
I am, I
Yeah.
think I'd rather. Cherry cobbler sounds terrible. I don't like cherries.
Fair enough.
But blueberry cobbler sounds amazing.
Yeah. Well, you can do that.
And
My
you-
aunt
you-
makes a great blackberry cobbler.
I'll take blackberries
Yeah.
too. Blackberry or blueberry.
Yeah.
That sounds phenomenal.
Yeah.
And I guess I could roll with apple or peach. But so this is from your Eagle Scout days.
Yeah, the Dutch oven is. That's what we used to
big
use all
day.
the time, man. Oh, it's great.
So
Do a lot of
you were
things
out
in a
there
Dutch
with
oven.
like the wolves and the bears.
That's
and you're
right.
cooking
Yeah.
cobbler.
I was Bar 2 Junior.
Wow, that's
right.
that's cool. All right, congratulations to your Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Is every Saints fan going against Tampa Bay
You have to.
and cheering for the Patrick Mahomesies?
You have to.
Okay, interesting. Wow. All right, I don't know who I'm for. I'm torn. I had so much fun yesterday watching football. Golly, the NFL is amazing. I mean, I divorced the NFL for a while, and Red Zone brought me back. Breeze, obviously Dak even more so, but Breeze, quarterback play is so good. I mean, the game is so good. I mean, I know it's been elevated at the high school level and college level because of what we're doing and allowing with quarterbacks. I mean, high school football I've watched more high school football the last few years than I ever watched, right? I mean, I graduated from high school and didn't watch high school football for 18 years. It's amazing. Mahomes, Brady, Rodgers, Josh, all these dudes. It's crazy. I love it. And the production, Romo was really good. Aikman was pretty good yesterday. I know he can put you to sleep, but I thought, now there were times where I was like, dude, are you there? But, yeah, I thought all in all, Aikman was good. Joe Buck's fantastic.
Yeah.
Super pro, and so is Nance. But the production level, Blake, is sick.
I love Tony Romo in
ridiculous.
primetime. First off, I thought that was fantastic. Tony
Right.
Romo on CBS was amazing.
It was.
And yeah, like you said, the cameras, the different dynamics, being able to see everything. I would watch a broadcast that just had the two coaches on camera.
Yeah.
I mean, the way this is all set up at this point, like
Yeah.
if we didn't have masks, give me the coaches like faces and all their reactions. I mean,
No doubt.
it's incredible. So I love the broadcast. I can't get enough.
Well done yesterday
enough.
by both networks,
Yeah.
Fox and CBS.
I'm gonna be sad because this weekend,
I know.
we don't even have the Pro Bowl dumb stuff to keep me
Well,
occupied.
we got the Senior Bowl this week.
Yep.
Okay, and there's some ties to Mississippi, obviously.
Yeah.
And Bruce Arians coached at Mississippi State twice.
6
once
years,
under
yeah.
Emory Ballard, once under Jackie Sherrill. And then we've got other Mississippi flavor, throughout the deal. All right.
There you go.
I'm going to go to our next guest, who will join us on the Coors Light guest line. Coors Light and crawfish season is here. Coors Light made to chill. We welcome in Charlie Burris, Big Orange Podcast. And you're listening to ESPN 105.9 The Zone. Tennessee now has an athletic director in Danny White. That's a good hire out of Central Florida. And now they are hunting a head coach. Charlie, give me give me the legit candidates that you know of right now on Tennessee's big board as far as their next head coach.
Man, that's the million-dollar question right now for, I think, everybody, not just in Tennessee media, but national media too. They're searching for names. I mean, the name that you heard out of every national media guy's mouth is Tony Elliott, the offensive coordinator at Clemson. I told you last week that I was none too impressed with that suggestion. But then yesterday, a pretty legit reporter from Clemson, I saw a post from him on his website. He said that he had contacted multiple people inside the program. Not only did they say that he had not been contacted, he said one person flat out told him that it's all a ruse. I believe that was his exact quote. So that's one name that has been thrown around a lot, and it's either that communication to that reporter is a ruse or the talk of Tony Elliott is a ruse. I'll let you decide. So there's one, the truly legitimate candidates. I mean, this guy, Danny White, he was made to conduct a search at Tennessee. Obviously, I don't know if his hire will be good yet, but the way that he's conducted this thing has been so impressive so far because Tennessee is so used to just having a loose-lipped AD. John Curry was out there just throwing the job out to anybody and getting all these guys raises and getting told no every time. And White, nobody can figure out anything. The only report that I've seen was this morning from a local guy in Knoxville saying that he didn't have exact names, but two people that had been contacted by the Parker search firm that's helping Tennessee out with this whole ordeal. Two guys that had been contacted by them weren't getting interviews, and then two other candidates hadn't been contacted at all. And so, that's the most up-to-date information that there is. I mean, I can throw names out at you all day. Matt Campbell is one that's gotten thrown around a lot as what would be a good fit in Tennessee's situation. Would he leave Iowa State? Money talks, but there's been so much talk that he's pretty happy where he's at. There's history with Lance Leipold in Buffalo because Danny White hired him at Buffalo, and he's been a successful coach there. You can go all the way down the list.
What about Heupel? So we're visiting with Charlie Burris, Rocky Top Insider, on the Coors Light Made to Chill guest line. So P.J. Fleck rumored, for our listeners, he's at Minnesota. Matt Campbell's at Iowa State. They both done a good job. Campbell even more so, I would think. Tony Elliott's the offensive coordinator at Clemson. He's been at Clemson forever, since 2011, so that's pretty darn good. Would Danny White poach Josh Heupel from Central Florida?
I don't think so. He has been a pretty innovative guy when it comes to hiring his football coach. He's dug deep and tried to look in places where people wouldn't immediately go. I believe that search at UCF, actually, what I saw is it came down to Tony Elliott and Heupel, and then took Josh Heupel. I believe that's what I saw around that. And then I don't think so, but that's a name that would make sense. Also, it's just I think it's been a lot of guys just throwing names out there. I mean, if you want my opinion as to what would fit best,
give me the best fit.
This is a controversial name around Tennessee, and it's going to be a real controversial name around probably the listeners of this program. But Lynn Kiffin at Ole Miss, obviously he has ties to Tennessee, having been there for 1 year and left them stone cold back in 2009. But he's obviously innovative offensive guy, history with Tennessee, so he knows the place. He knows what kind of a nut house that it can really be. But he has a history of building a program. He turned FAU around. I think he's going to do a good job with Ole Miss. And he really went into Alabama and helped Saban revolutionize his offense. And now that offense has become the juggernaut of juggernauts. And so I think just that right there is a perfect fit. Would that actually happen? If you're an Ole Miss fan, don't lose any sleep, in my personal opinion. But when I look at the best fit, he just is right in that mold. But yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of names that you could throw out there, but it's just been a lot of kind of.
What do you think the timeline is? I mean, so Danny White is hired. He's off and running, like you said. We've got all kinds of names: P.J. Fleck, Matt Campbell, Tony Elliott. There's others, I'm sure, like you said, that the Parker search firm is vetting and that he's looking at. This guy has grown up in the world of athletics. His dad is the AD at Duke, was the AD at Notre Dame and Arizona State. His brother is the head basketball coach at Florida. So what do you think it's this week, like in the next 3 to 5, 6 days going into Friday or Saturday? Would you feel confident that Tennessee will have a coach by Saturday night?
As of right now, yes. I wouldn't be surprised. My prediction, I mean, I did my own personal show last night. My prediction was by Wednesday. I think it seems like he's moving fast. That's been all the reports. He just seems to be really focused, and they really emphasize, look, the final signing day is coming up. Tennessee right now, in terms of transfers and needing kids out of the transfer portal is sort of up a creek. You need somebody who can get in here and get moving on that. And so, yeah, I mean, I think they're going to expedite this process as much as possible, but they also want to take enough time to make sure they get the right guy. I mean, I could still sort of throw some other names in there. I mean, I talked to a reporter who just is a local guy in Knoxville and has been trying to track down information. He threw out James Franklin as a possibility yesterday, that there have been kind of
wow.
on that situation. And that's another one that would be pretty controversial. Obviously, I think when you strip away everything to him as purely a football coach, it's an excellent hire. I mean, it would be phenomenal. You could get him in town, but you have a history of him that Tennessee fans are pretty familiar with some of his players having been convicted of sexual assault, and there was some involvement with him and some court testimony that is messy, to say the least.
Sure.
And obviously his history as Vandy's coach and selling that to Tennessee fans is another thing. But like I said, if you break that down to him just being a football coach, that would be a home run if you're asking me. But you mentioned PJ Fleck. He's another one where he's hokey, and I think a lot of people would kind of say that out there looking in. Row the boat, a lot of slogans. And Tennessee, I can tell you, Tennessee fans would be a little shy about that because Butch Jones, he's a huge slogan guy. Obviously, PJ Fleck is pretty familiar with Butch Jones. I believe just calls him a friend, and also PJ Fleck calls a close friend in Greg Schiano. And I mean, he says that Greg Schiano is kind of a guy that's been a big influence on him in his career. He worked with him twice at the college level and in the NFL, and I'm not sure that would go over super well with Tennessee fans. But you do have to look. Offensive guy, built the program at Minnesota that's not a traditional winner. He fits that mold at the same time. So can you overlook things like that and hire a coach like Fleck? I guess we'll see here the next week or so.
Wow. So Charlie Burris, Big Orange podcast on the Coors Light Made to Chill guest line. He actually dropped Lane Kiffin's name. Who knows if he's a serious candidate. And I'm not sure what Keith Carter did as far as a buyout with him. It may be pretty big as far as the new contract that Lane was offered within the last couple of weeks. But he had a great year at Ole Miss. He had a good year at Tennessee before leaving, as Charlie said, kind of Tennessee high and dry there just a few days before signing day to take that Southern Cal job years ago. And then Matt Campbell at Iowa State, P.J. Fleck at Minnesota, and Tony Elliott, Dabo Swinney's offensive coordinator at Clemson. He's been with Clemson since 2011, so right at a decade Tony Elliott's been in Clemson. He's had an opportunity to see the whole build. All right, well, but the Tennessee fan base is happy with Danny White, their new athletic director, right? That hire?
Yes. As I kind of mentioned earlier, it seems like he was sort of tailor-made to handle the craziness that is. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. Do you think that deal was already done? It sure looked like it. By the time that they did the press conference, firing Pruitt and Fulmer kind of exiting stage left?
I think not according to the chancellor, Donnie Plowman. In that press conference, she mentioned that, I believe, if I'm remembering what she said correctly, her first contact with White was Tuesday of last week. I'm trying to think of the exact timeline when everything happened. There's so much going on. So actually, no, although I think that they had been going down that road research-wise. They had been looking at their guys. There was actually a report from another local guy here that, I mentioned on your show last week, John Gilbert was sort of shoo-in, that there had been a report that a set of donors and important people kind of came to her and said, we want John Gilbert as the guy. And she actually was like, no, we're going to totally flesh this out. We're not just going to go with this typical friend of the family hire like Tennessee usually does. And then they ended up with the help of the Parker search firm going with Danny White. That's been my impression. But to your original question, yeah, I think Tennessee fans have been incredibly impressed because this is the nature of the Tennessee fan base when it comes to a coaching search. I'll give you the perfect example that happened yesterday. Tennessee's plane is out at the Knoxville airport. It has, the power tee on the back, and just a fan casually was around the airport and noticed that plane was pulling out of the hangar, took a picture, posted it on social media. People started up into a frenzy, got everybody frothing at the mouth. Where's this plane going? Where's this plane going? Where's this plane going? Well, it turns out it was going to Orlando, and chances are it was just probably Tennessee shuttling Danny White's family back. We don't have confirmation of that, but that's what it would appear to be. But it's that Tennessee fans around the airport. They take a picture of the plane, then everybody goes crazy.
Charlie, only in the SEC do we track planes. I mean, these other conferences think we're just nuts. Blake, you've got a question for Rocky Top Insider, Big Orange Podcast, Charlie Burris on the Coors Light guest line. Go ahead.
Yeah, Charlie, is Tennessee in a position where it's going to be hard for whoever they bring in to win right away? Is this not for the same reasons and not to the same level necessarily, but is this a Bill O'Brien at Penn State thing where you got to bring somebody in, right the ship, but it might be a career-altering decision for that first person, and then the next person is going to be the guy that can win? And if that's the case, is that making it a harder sell to a guy like Fleck, Kiffin, someone who's already established, whereas Tony Elliott would take this because it's his first chance?
That's a great question. And it's really tough to say because of the state of the roster. I mean, you had a lot of guys fleeing, although there's been reports that some of the best guys who are in the portal might be coming back. Henry To'oTo'o being one of them, potentially might be staying at Tennessee. Eric Gray is another guy who's a phenomenal running back that they're trying to get to stay. Obviously, there might be a situation there where they're waiting to see who the coach is going to be. You have some quarterback options. Caden Salter, 4-star dual-threat quarterback, really exciting kid that's going to be coming up. And I think you could sell to a coach, hey, here's a kid right here that he's already all of this mess. He's kind of emphasized his commitment that he's coming to Tennessee no matter what. We got him in the pipeline. You have a transfer quarterback from Virginia Tech coming in to kind of start with for this next guy. Big Cap Bryant, a transfer from Auburn, who's an exciting defensive end. There's the pieces on this team that I don't think that the next guy's just going to be working from bone dry. But do I think that it's going to be a 9-win team initially? No, I think you'll probably be happy with 6 wins next year, and you'll say, well, that was a success. But, man, we'll have to see.
All right, well, then we'll check back in with you in the next few days. Charlie Burris, Rocky Top Insider, Big Orange Podcast on the Coors Light Made to Chill guest line. Charlie, thank you, buddy. Have a good week.
Absolutely. Appreciate it.
All right. All hail Rocky Top. There you go, the latest out of Knoxville. P.J. Fleck, maybe. Matt Campbell, Iowa State. James Franklin, would he be interested from Penn State? Tony Elliott, offensive coordinator at Clemson, among others. We're live in the Bank Plus studio. The SEC Insider Hit this morning, presented by Farm Bureau Insurance. Go local. Go with the home team. Go with your local Farm Bureau insurance agent in any of the 82 counties in the great state of Mississippi. Bundle your auto and home and save with your local Farm Bureau insurance agent. We'll be back in a second.